If you saw a real angel, not a painting, not a sculpture, not a cute baby with wings, a real angel, you wouldn't take a selfie. You wouldn't smile. You wouldn't even speak. You would probably collapse instantly, paralyzed by a primal fear you never knew existed. Because angels do not look human. Today we're diving deep into the shocking, terrifying truth about what angels actually look like according to the Bible, and why centuries of pop culture have completely lied to us, giving us a dangerous and misleading view of heaven's power. The truth is far stranger, far more majestic, and far more powerful than feathered wings and a white robe. We must understand that when the Bible describes the heavenly host, it is describing beings designed not for human comfort, but for unapproachable, holy glory. For centuries, the world has imagined angels as gentle, passive comfort givers. This entire aesthetic, from the men in white robes to the cherubic babies, is a Western artistic invention. Artists chose beauty over holiness because beauty sells, but true holiness terrifies. The Bible describes them as living spiritual weapons. Narration shifts to a dramatic reading tone. Who makes his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. The primary goal of their appearance is to reflect the sheer, overwhelming, uncontainable power of God himself. This distinction is crucial. When we look at a painting, we admire the form. When a prophet looked at a seraph, they saw the power source of the universe, a being of such intense purity and energy that it physically destroys the human capacity for composure. They are pure power, pure light, and absolute, perfect complexity, demanding total reverence. Let's start with the Seraphim, whose name literally means the burning ones. Isaiah saw them in the throne room, and they're defined by their proximity to the source of all life. They have 6 wings. 2 wings cover their own face, a symbol of profound humility because even they cannot withstand the unmediated brilliance of God's glory. 2 wings cover their feet, a sign of reverence. Only the final 2 are used for flight and service. This act of covering is a perpetual lesson. Glory is too much, even for heaven's elite. Their voices shake the very foundations of the temple. The prophet Isaiah captured their perpetual chant. Deep, echoing voice, slow pace. Above him stood the Seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. They are living, sentient flames, an expression of God's consuming holiness. Their existence is an unending declaration of divine purity and power. Now, the cherubim. They are the guardians of Eden and the throne's immediate escort. They are built for absolute vigilance and mobility. The cherubim had 4 faces, giving them full, 4-sided, absolute awareness. Their bodies were completely covered with eyes, symbols of their eternal vigilance and omniscience. They are the supreme watchers of heaven, literally built to know all that happens in their domain. This is what he wrote. Clear, descriptive voice, slightly faster pace. Each one had 4 faces, and each one had 4 wings. And their whole body, their backs, their hands, their wings, and the wheels were full of eyes all around. When they moved, they didn't walk. They moved with impossible geometric precision, always in straight lines, without ever turning, moving like flashes of lightning. They are living, 4-sided, omniscient machines of fire and glory. Finally, the Ophanim, or the wheels. They are the mobile geometry of God's throne, and they are terrifying in their strangeness. Next to the cherubim were the Ophanim. Ezekiel was astounded by their construction. Awe-filled voice, slightly slower pace. The appearance of the wheels and their construction was like the gleaming of beryl. Their appearance and their construction was as it were a wheel within a wheel. And their rings were tall and terrifying, and the rims of all 4 were full of eyes all around. They are structures of absolute vigilance and power, moving in perfect, supernatural synchronization. This is the truth of the heavenly host. A hierarchy of fire, eyes, wheels, and faces, all operating as one interconnected, eternal machine dedicated to the movement and glory of God. Nothing about this looks like a painting. This looks like the very essence of supernatural power. Let's look at the effect of an angel who did appear in a somewhat man-like form to the prophet Daniel in his final vision. This angel was terrifying in his glory. Daniel describes the angel, and then his own reaction. Solemn, serious voice, focusing on Daniel's suffering. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like torches of fire, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. So I was left alone and saw this great vision, and no strength remained in me. For my majestic appearance was disfigured, and I retained no strength. This is the pattern: collapse, followed by the angel gently touching and strengthening the human, a necessary intervention just to keep them alive and conscious. Their true form doesn't just scare us, it overloads our physical systems. So, why the occasional simple human appearance? The answer is simple. It is an act of divine mercy and necessity. The simple form is a necessary camouflage. When they look human, they are deliberately dimming their radiance, slowing their light, and dampening their power, just so you can survive the conversation and receive the message. Their appearance is not their form. It is a disguise of necessity. They are hiding their natural, overwhelming glory for our safety and sanity. We must discard the lies of pop culture and reclaim the biblical truth. Angels are not harmless mascots. They are the magnificent, holy executors of the Most High God. They exist to showcase His power and purity. If you ever saw a real angel, you wouldn't call it beautiful in the way the world uses the word. You would call it terrifying, and you would call it holy, because angels don't look like the paintings. They look like the unfiltered, mind-bending glory of God in unstoppable motion.